South Africa is heading north, folks, for the brand new Vodacom United Rugby Championship. As a rugby lover, it's going to be great to see the North and South square up like this. The four former Super Rugby teams from South Africa, the Sharks, the Lions, the Bulls, and the Stormers, alongside the former Pro 14 teams based in Europe, teams from Ireland, Scotland, Italy, and Wales. There's a lot of talent on display in this competition. In this video, let's go through, pick a few guys from each team and kind of highlight them as these kind of guys to watch. Because I know some of the South African fans maybe haven't seen much of the European guys. I know a few years ago I wouldn't have watched much European rugby, so it's kind of been a bit of a learning thing for me. And likewise, some of the European fans may not be that familiar with some of the South African guys outside the guys you've seen playing for the Springboks, but there's certainly plenty of talent on display amongst all these teams. So let's have a look at these squads. But before that, let's have a quick look at what we can expect from the 2021-2022 United Rugby Championship.
The Vodacom United Rugby Championship, live and in HD on SuperSport, only on DStv Premium. Wear a mask and stay safe. Further together, Vodacom.
We'll start with the Welsh teams. There's certainly a few guys who you'd be familiar with from the British and Irish Lions tour. I mean, Alan Jones is playing for the Ospreys. Adam Baird, George North. There's a lot of big names in that side. One guy I want to highlight. It's Gareth Ansker, man. You probably haven't seen him for about 2 years. The guy has been out injured for ages, so he is one guy I'm absolutely pumped to see back in the competition. For the Dragons, they've signed the Argentinian scrum half Gonzalo Bertrano. They've got Jamie Roberts at centre, the big unit. He used to play for the Stormers. And they've got Ben Carter. If you haven't heard of him, he did get capped by Wales relatively recently. Wayne Pivac is talking about Ben Carter as kind of a potential future Alan Wynne-Jones, so no kind of pressure on him there, but he seems like a proper workhorse of a player. Cardiff, you got Josh Adams, who was the top try scorer at the 2019 Rugby World Cup. You got a back row which can feature James Botham, Shane Lewis-Hughes, Josh Navidi, Josh Turnbull, all Welsh internationals, but they've got one proper big unit on the wing, and I think maybe sometimes in the midfield, Owen Lane. I haven't seen much of him, but when I've seen him, man, 100 plus kg, big unit of a winger, loves busting tackles, a big fun guy to watch. For the Scarlets, you got a couple of international fullbacks in the likes of Liam Williams, you got Lee Halfpenny, but you've got Wynne-Jones. I know everybody's pretty familiar with him because he played with the British and Irish Lions, and he was kind of maybe the premier loosehead prop amongst a lot of the European teams in the year just gone. But you can't just highlight all the flashy backs. You need to have a good proper prop there, and Wynne-Jones is certainly one of those. For the Scottish teams and the Italian teams, Benetton, you've got a lot of Italian internationals there. You've also got Andreas Corsia, former Lions guy, former Springbok, who's kind of signed for them for the upcoming season. So outside back, it'd be good to see him back in action. You've got Zano on the Italian centre. He's a young guy coming through really well, but the main guy, I mean, forgive me for picking so many wingers, but Monty Ioane, the guy is both very quick, very skilled, and powerful. Guy likes bumping off tackles, so it's been great to see him kind of going through with Benetton for a few years, and he's gotten capped at international level with Italy now as well, so great to see that reward for him. For Zebre, you got the Italian captain Luca Bigi, you got Carlo Canna, but one guy who I kind of, and admittedly I don't see the Italian teams enough as I should, Renato Gia Marioli. He's a loose forward and he's quick. He has been capped for Italy, but not for quite some time. He is a really elusive forward who's got proper wheels. This guy is one of those guys, so looking forward to seeing him in action. For the Scottish teams, Glasgow, they've got the Ferguson brothers. Xander was on the Lions tour. He's been in proper good form. They've got Duncan Weir, who's come in at 10 because they've lost Adam Hastings, but they've also brought in Domingo Miotti, who was doing really well with the Force after the Hawares kind of also missed out on Super Rugby. And they've got Matt Ferguson as well, brother of Xander. Proper big ball carrying loose forward, plays for Scotland, so going to be fun to see how he goes. Edinburgh, Boffelli and Mojano, the Argentinian outside backs, have signed. They're both very good players. Boffelli's got a huge boot on him. Mojano runs those fantastic lines. They got Hamish Watson, they got Jamie Ritchie, they got Magnus Bradbury, they got Vili Mata, the offload king. Vili Mata is a guy who I'm personally looking forward to seeing a lot more, because that guy, he just does nuts, crazy things. So, yeah, fantastic guy to watch. For the South African teams, there's been a bit of movement. Some guys kind of leaving the Stormers, signing for the Sharks. Some guys going abroad, but I see the Lions have picked up Edville van der Merwe. I don't know how they did that from the Stormers. That guy he's got a bit of Cheslin and Colby about him. He's not a real big guy, but he's got a wicked step. He's got some proper gas. So good to see him sign for the Lions, but they've also got some kind of old boys. They got the monster of Willem Alberts. They got Yanni Duplessis. They've got other quick guys out of the ring. I think Rabs Makwane is out on the wing as well. So yeah, the Lions have got some speedsters, and adding Edville van der Merwe to the ranks is certainly a good acquisition. The Stormers, if you watch the Lions tour, you would have seen Rikus Pretorius. Still a young man, but very quick and very exciting. They've got forwards and like the likes of Kitsov and Malherba, who are currently with the Boks, but once they join back up with the Stormers, are going to make some people's lives miserable. But Warwick Galant, he's been out injured for quite some time. I'm dead keen to see him back in action, because he is a proper excitement machine player. The Sharks have made some big signings. You would have seen Kolisi signed for them a wee while back. They've recently acquired Springbok hooker Bongi and Wanambi. Obviously, those guys are still with the Boks squad. But you've got Werner Koch, who you would have seen on the Lions tour as well. Kind of Sevens legend, and he's been doing really well at 15s. And Kerwin Bosch, he's got a massive boot on him. He's not a real big guy, but he's got a huge boot. Not only can he kick the thing high off kickoffs to make contestable kicks always, very contestable for his team, but he can kick him from 60 plus meters, man. Yeah, when he's on form, proper cannon boot on him. And the Bulls who have just been absolutely smashing things up in South Africa in recent times. Currie Cup, Super Rugby Unlocked. The Bulls have just been on fire under Jake White. And they've got so many guys who have played for the Springboks who could still realistically be playing for the Springboks that aren't there at the moment. The likes of Arno Botha, Marcel Coetzee, Lionel Mapu, and Cornell Hendricks. Like, that guy was out of rugby for a while, but when he came back with a bit of a storm, man. He has been on absolute fire. How he didn't quite make Russie's squad was perplexing to people, me included, but what a pleasure to see him playing for the Bulls. So certainly a lot of talent in those four South African teams. The Irish teams, goodness me, man, they've been pretty good in the Pro 14 in recent years, so they'll all be a pretty big threat. None more so than Leinster, man. That's pretty much an all-Irish squad. You can pick an Irish 15 easily out of the Leinster squad. I won't go through all the names because there's too many, but Caelan Doris, James Ryan, Tug Furlong, Johnny Sexton. Look out for Ryan Baird. That guy's a proper excitement machine lock. Big old unit as well. So he's a really fun guy to see in action, but definitely a really hard team to beat. Munster, they've got some kind of good guys coming through as well. I mean, for South African fans, they'll be pretty familiar with the likes of Damon Delende and Achias Neyman, but Craig Casey's another up-and-coming scrum half. He's got a real bullet pass on him. Gavin Coombs is probably my favourite one. With the retirement of CJ Stunder, this guy's a proper block-busting ball carrier. So always tends to get over the advantage line. Fun guy to watch. Connacht, Bundiak, he's kind of obviously the first name that comes to my mind anyway as a Kiwi, but Jack Carty is maybe one of the more underrated guys. Mccollum Blade, scrum half, got called up for Ireland recently. Mac Hansen, they've signed from the Brumbies, so he's another one. Pretty agile winger, finds himself into a fair bit of space, so he will be one to watch. Maybe Connacht fans probably haven't seen much of him either, but he's a really good acquisition. And Ulster, man, they got some big units. They got McCloskey in the midfield. They got Henderson in the second row. They got this winger, Balakoon, a real rangy kind of winger. But James Hume, another big unit in the midfield, beats defenders for fun. proper excitement. So, folks, there's a lot of players to look out for. That's just a taste of it, man. It's far from an exhaustive list. I am very much looking forward to see how this competition goes. Like I mentioned, the Irish teams have been pretty strong in recent times, generally getting kind of pretty high up on the table. Benetton were a team who won the Rainbow Cup. They were the European representative, which was kind of a bit unexpected. And then they even managed to beat the Bulls. The Bulls will be looking for a bit of revenge in that regard for sure. I said the Bulls recently in South Africa have been pretty dominant. How they go on the road is going to be an interesting question. The Welsh teams, it was only a few years ago that Scarlets were one of the top teams in the pro competition as well. Maybe a little bit underperforming in recent times. Welsh fans will kind of have to let us know what's going on. But I am kind of pleased by some of the signings that we've seen. A few guys who've been based in England are now returning to Wales, like Will Rowlands and Thomas Francis. These guys who've been playing in the Premiership are now moving into their URC clubs. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this season, guys. I'm not sure who's the favourite at this point. Probably Leinster's going to be up there. The Bulls are going to be up there. But certainly, like I said, Benetton's been champion of the Rainbow Cup. The Welsh sides have been making some good acquisitions. There's been a lot of changes at Glasgow. So it's going to be a fascinating one to watch. You guys let me know your thoughts. Who else should we be looking out for? There's loads of guys I haven't mentioned. I tried to keep it kind of snappy. But yeah, hopefully there's a few names that you guys might Google up and have a look at some highlights prior to the kickoff of the season. But like I said, it's not too far away. And yeah, hope you guys look forward to the URC season as much as I do. Cheers, guys, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.